Yo, D Jose 101 here, back in full effect to do Monday Night Raw, which came to us tonight from the Air Canada Center in Toronto, Canada, May 17th. I gotta say, Raw tonight, for what it was, commercial free, it was solid. It was solid. Let's get into it. Bret Hart comes out and Bret says he addresses The Miz and told WWF, which once again, you can't say WWF on television, although according to people in Canada, they blurted that out. Of course, Raw's still going on in Canada right now as we speak. But Bret says he's going to win the U.S. title, and then Chris Jericho comes out and does his classic Jericho stuff that he's been doing for the past couple years, ever since he turned on Shawn Michaels, saying that Bret was like a hypocrite and nobody wants to see him anymore. Jericho got great massive heat off of that. And then Bret said, whenever we were training in the dungeon, you'd always be upstairs getting a drink. And Jericho says, the only guy that matters is me, Chris Jericho. And Bret says that, the Hart Dynasty will end up being still be the tag team champs after Sunday. And tonight's U.S. title match is a no disqualification match between Bret and Miz. And then they said it was no commercials tonight, even though they did these little infomercials, which were, those were all right. They spoofed Geico and they said, does Great Khali hate rental cars? And then Great Khali and Ranjan Singh were in a rental car. And Ranjan was like, that's all they had. And then Hornswoggle pulls up in a big-ass Hummer, laughs at Great Khali, and Great Khali got angry. And then Edge came out and he cut a promo about the guest host. Edge says Orton's not going to give due to RKO. And then Christian came out and we saw a phenomenal match tonight between Edge and Christian. What a match it was, guys, I'm telling you. It was a pretty good back and forth. Edge basically went to work on Christian's shoulder. They did a 10 count spot where Christian got fucked up on the outside. Edge thought he won, and then Christian rolled back into the ring, and Edge just really went to work on the shoulder. Christian got a tornado DDT, and then they went back and forth with a few counters. And an implant DDT happened, and then Christian knew a spear was coming. He got a sunset flip with a 2 count. Christian avoided it. He did his little rope kick trip. And then Edge throws him shoulder first into the turnbuckle, hit the spear on Christian, got a great spear, and got the 1-2-3. Match of the night for sure. And then Orton gets on the Titantron and says congratulations to Edge, but he wants to know why Christian is out there. Orton says Christian wasn't the guy he picked. But then, The Undertaker made his comeback to Monday Night Raw. And basically nothing happened. Edge stayed outside the ring. Undertaker won. And then Christian just rolls Edge back in the ring. Edge got chokeslammed and Taker left. And then Maurice is backstage with a magazine with Trish Stratus on the cover. And she wants to know why she's not on the cover. And then Eve and Maurice get into a catfight. It was a decent catfight for what it was. And then, who here cared about our guest host tonight, Buzz Aldrin? Raise your hand. Anyway, they did this little segment where Vicky Burrito says she's still the GM, and her replacement will be there next week. So we're going to get a new general manager, thank you God, but we'll find out who it is. And then they were going to do Mark Henry versus Batista, and Batista just came out, fucked up Mark Henry across the back with a 2x4 and then ran Henry into the steps. And then Batista did his little spotlight, and then just posed to the crowd. And then they did another segment with Ted DiBiase doing the priceless thing. And then they said, for everything else, there's our truth. It was kind of pointless. Excuse me. And then it was Ted DiBiase with Virgil versus Yoshitatsu. It was a decent match for what it was. They traded hip tosses, and then Ted hits a fireman carry fireman's carry turned into a gut buster. He suplexes Yoshi onto the ropes, gets a 2 count. Ted got kicked in the jaw, some more kicks in the midsection, and only a 2 count. Yoshi went for his finisher, but then Ted hit Dream Street for the win. And then Ted Dibiase ordered Virgil to go get the $1 million belt for him. And Ted says Virgil will be back in Ted's corner on Sunday. And he says if he can't buy R-Truth, he can beat him. Kind of sounds like slavery a little bit to me. And then Miz and Jericho are consulting each other. And then Miz does this great promo where he just says he's going to kick the crap out of the Hall of Famer, Bret the Hitman Hart, and he will make him scream and tap with the sharpshooter. And then we went to the Miz and Bret Hart, which was kind of a semi-mark-out moment kind of deal, which with Bret and Vince, you know, it was like Bret and Vince at WrestleMania 26, where basically, you know, Miz got help with Kozlov and Regal, and then the Heart Surgeons came out and then fought them to the back. And then Natalya came out, slapped Jericho, and Bret got beat up a little bit, so props to Bret. But Bret locked in the sharpshooter. I marked out. We got a new U.S. champion. The crowd went crazy for that in Canada. And then we cut to another commercial with Santino Marella where he's mocking the Dudes Equals guy. He says he doesn't always watch sports entertainment, but he always watches Monday Night Raw. And then he drinks beer and then says it tastes like goat urine. And then we went to Michelle McCool, Layla, and Maurice versus the Bella Twins and Eve Torres. The match was all right. Nikki Bella got destroyed with the French Kiss DDT after a few minutes, and then the referees had to separate Eve and Maurice. It was like another cat fight. It was decent for what it was. And then Michael Cole Jr. asked John Cena and Incite about his decisions to really fight Batista in an I Quit match. Cena basically says the same shit he always says, like, I'll never quit, I'll do this, the champ is here. It was your typical Cena promo, nothing that you haven't already seen. And then Orton versus Swagger. Orton versus Swagger was good for what it was, but, you know, Edge came out, speared Orton. Here's how the finish went. Swagger got nailed with the DDT, and then it got lined up for the RKO. Edge came out to the ring and gets Swagger disqualified. Edge hit the RKO on Swagger, and then Edge did a 6 spear on Randy Orton, which I marked out for. That was great. And Justin Roberts did introduce the guest host. Zack Ryder came out and, you know, said that the man landing on the moon was fake, and he'd rather be homeless in America eating moose meat in Canada. Woo, woo, woo. It was kind of boring. And then we got Zack Ryder and Alicia Fox versus Evan Bourne and Gail Kim. It was all right for what it was. It was decent. Bourne hit the shooting star press on Zack Ryder, and Gail Kim hit some move called the Eat Defeat on Alicia Fox for the win, which was all right. And then another Geico parody saying, would Goldust be weird on a blind date? And then he does that little breathing thing. And then we went to the main event of the night, Lame Ass versus John Cena and Incite. It was your typical back and forth match between these guys, but Batista, here's how the finish went. Both men were trading punches. Cena and Sheamus were fighting each other, and then Cena went for the attitude adjustment. Cena turned around, got fucked up with a couple spine busters by Batista, and then Batista hit probably about 2 or 3 spine busters, and then Batista does his little crossface chicken wing hold, and then Batista screaming at Cena, say I quit, but Cena just screams and screams and screams to end the show. Overall, the Raw was pretty solid. You can check it out if you want to. See what you think. Also, don't forget to get registered on our site, WrestlingRevolution.com, by June 1st to win a DVD raffle of your choice. I will once again put the links in the description box. This is D. Jose, and I'm